Your inability to do pull-ups is all in your head. Anyone can do pull-ups, and here's why you should test. Gym is a new elemental column about the science of exercise. I've always loved pull-ups. They require nothing more than an overhead bar and some deep grit. They're a primal yet elegant way to test your might and strength to weight ratio while building core and upper body strength. Pull-ups are also a show of power. Mark Wahlberg did 22 pull-ups in 30 seconds as a charity fundraiser on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Former FBI boss James Comey told the New York Times he was spending the unemployed celebrity chapter of his life working toward a goal of doing 10 consecutive pull-ups. There's a popular notion that certain bodies just aren't capable of executing a proper pull-up. The New York Times once tried to explain why women can't do them, but there's ample evidence to the contrary. Megan Rapinoe does pull-ups, because of course she does. And Eva Clark, an Australian mother of 3, set a world record in 2016 by pumping out 725 in 1 hour. Still, it's true that pull-ups are naturally easier for some people than others. Pull-ups use your core, forearms, biceps, upper back, deltoids, and lats, so strengthen those muscles is important, according to Stu Smith, a certified strength coach and former Navy SEAL. And it helps to be light. Every extra pound is just extra weight you have to lift. The pull-up is an attainable feat even if you aren't one of those muscle heads shaped like a slice of pizza. Athletes who have strong upper bodies but are generally lean, think Nordic skiers and gymnasts, will usually have an easier time with pull-ups than cyclists or speed skaters, who carry their weight in their legs. Ideally, you want your weight concentrated in the body parts that are contributing to the work of a pull-up, not the ones that are dead weight while you're hoisting yourself up to the bar. But the pull-up is an attainable feat even if you aren't one of those muscle heads shaped like a slice of pizza. Marine Lieutenant Col Misty Posey is living proof. Posey, who had never done sports, learned to do her first pull-up out of necessity. The U.S. Marine Corps did not include pull-ups in the physical fitness test for women until 2017, but the officer boot camp Posey had to pass when she was becoming a Marine in the 1990s required her to get over obstacles that, at just 4 feet 10 inches tall, she was too short to jump over. Her only option was to pull herself up and over them. Posey spent almost a year trying to go from 0 to 1 pull-up using a pull-up assist machine at the base's gym. Despite working her way up to doing 90% of her body weight for 10 pull-ups with the machine, she still couldn't do a single unneeded pull-up. A gunnery sergeant at the gym saw Posey's futile efforts and told her to give up the machine. It was a crutch. "Get out of the gym, and go work on the pull-up bar," he told her, instructing Posey to do a series of pull-up variations like jumping pull-ups and half pull-ups. The advice was so simple that she almost dismissed it, but it worked. 3 days later, Posey did her first pull-up. And then she kept going. On a bet from a fellow Marine, a man who seemed surprised she could do any pull-ups at all, Posey worked her way up to 23 consecutive pull-ups in less than 8 weeks to win the bet and kick her doubters' ass. Accomplishing a pull-up can be a symbol of female empowerment. When you do a pull-up, Posey says, you become the master of your own body. It's our way to get respect. Simply believing that you can do a pull-up isn't enough to get you there. But the notion that you can't may be part of what's stopping you. In the years since her first pull-up, Posey has become a pull-up evangelist. She has helped countless women and men of every body type learn to do the iconic exercise. I've had mothers and grandmothers, and I've had women with up to 29% body fat get their first pull-up, she says. In hindsight, Posey says that the biggest thing stopping her from that first pull-up was her own erroneous belief that she couldn't. Of course, simply believing that you can do a pull-up isn't enough to get you there. But the notion that you can't may be part of what's stopping you. There's a psychology at play in situations like these, says Sandra Hunter, an exercise scientist at Marquette University. She recalls a male colleague who decided that for his 50th birthday, he was going to do 50 push-ups. Hunter told him that if he can do 50, he could probably do 100. He told me I'd blown his mind. He was a sports psychologist, and he never had the gall to consider that he might do that. He ended up doing 200 push-ups, and half of the effort was just deciding that he could, she says. Okay, time to do a pull-up. The reason why most people cannot do pull-ups is that they do not practice pull-ups, says Smith, the former Navy SEAL. Posey adds that the problem with pull-up assist machines and other exercises is that they don't fully replicate the motor pattern of an actual pull-up. Posey's pull-up training guide outlines about a dozen pull-up based exercises, but she has helped hundreds of people achieve pull-ups with a training plan that consists of just a few simple exercises, essentially just different ways of practicing pull-ups. Posey is expecting her first child in a few months and soon will be updating her pull-up manifesto to include advice for doing pull-ups during pregnancy. The training plan. Posey's plan centers around 3 essential exercises: partner-assisted pull-ups, negatives, and jumping pull-ups. In the partner-assisted drills, you hang on the bar and initiate a pull-up. When you start to falter, your partner helps by spotting you on the middle and upper back, not your feet. In the negative pull-up, you stand on a chair or stool to get yourself to the top of the pull-up bar and then slowly lower yourself down. This might seem easier than lifting yourself up, Posey says, but it's a very effective way of getting better at pull-ups because it's an eccentric move, which means that your muscle is lengthening. Eccentric exercises stimulate the muscle fibers and nerves and help build strength. In the jumping pull-up, you jump up to give yourself a boost at the start and avoid beginning from a dead hang. You can put it all together by doing pull-up progressions, sets of pull-up exercises that you increase in number over time. The Posey plan involves doing sets of these exercises 3 to 5 times per day, 3 to 5 times per week. The goal is to do as many as you can in a particular day without wearing yourself out, she says. The technique is important, Posey says. Grip the bar tightly with your pinky knuckle over the top of the bar. Tuck in your pelvis, and keep your abs tight. Pull your arms down into your shoulder sockets, and keep your shoulders down, the opposite of shrugging. Hang your legs straight, and keep your head neutral. As you begin the exercise, keep your abs and glutes tight, and concentrate on pulling your elbows to your ribs and your chin over the bar. Don't lift your chin up. Some of your initial strength gains at the beginning of a training program will actually come from neural changes, says Hunter, the Marquette University exercise scientist. A pull-up is a dynamic movement that requires stabilizing the shoulder and recruiting multiple muscles. By practicing the pull-up exercise itself, you're teaching your nervous system how to do the move. You need a certain amount of coordination and motor control, Hunter says. Pull-up progressions can help people go from 0 to 1 pull-up, but they're also how pull-up world record holder John Orth trained for his feat. Orth, a violin builder from Golden, Colorado, holds a record for the most pull-ups completed in 24 hours. 7,600. Orth set an interval timer to go off every 30 or 40 seconds. Every time it bust, he would do a set of 6 or 7 pull-ups. He continued this for 2 or 3 hours per day. On his most serious training days, he'd set the timer for 15 or 20 seconds and do sets at that interval for as long as he was able. Orth supplemented this training with a pull-up assist machine that he would use like a rowing machine, doing pull-ups at half his body weight for up to an hour straight. He also did pull-ups with a weight belt. It made it so that when I wasn't wearing the weight belt, it made me feel extra light, he says. This feeling that Orth could rip them out is key, because, as Posey discovered on that fateful day when she achieved her first one, how many pull-ups you can do, or whether you can do one at all, may be all in your head. Please save trees and nature, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.